I want you to raise your hand if you've ever had a friend that secretly hates you. Me. And I didn't realize that this was a very universal experience until very recently. In the beginning, it genuinely feels pretty normal. I feel like they disguise themselves as supportive and all the things, and it's the tiny, tiny little microaggressions that if you're not paying attention, go completely over your head. And the comments honestly really vary. They can be about your friends, what you're wearing, what you've been up to recently. And I feel like the biggest indicator when they say these sentences, it's always like, oh, and then they lead with whatever they're gonna say. Oh, you're hanging out with this person? Oh, I definitely wouldn't do that if I were you. And the craziest part is, it's all simultaneously coupled with them adopting things that are very much you. Copying the way you dress, copying your mannerisms, maybe even going as far as dating people that are very similar to the people that you date, becoming friends with people that are very much your friends. And I think being an empathetic person, I'd find myself in situations making excuses to be like, oh, well, she just had a bad day. That's like why she said something like that. Instead of sitting there and realizing that that girl hates you. Like in my life, I met this girl last year and very, very quickly, she like latched on to me. And at first I was like, oh, that's kind of odd. You're literally telling me all about your life and I met you maybe a week ago. And I watched her interact with her other friends. Like they would call her and the way she would like roll her eyes or like make snarky little comments. But I was like, wait, we literally saw them out a couple days ago. Or you literally were just talking about how nice they were. Like there was no consistency across any board. And this should have been red flag number one, because the way that someone speaks about their other friends in your presence is the exact same way they're gonna talk about you. Second red flag was the inconsistency. One day she'd be super hot, the next day completely cold. Like I'm talking about unfollow out of nowhere one day, then pretend they don't know you the next one other people are around. And as I sit here and reflect, I honestly think I've cracked the code. These girls aren't jealous of the things that you have, or honestly, the way that you look. What they're jealous of is your energy, your aura, your je ne sais pas quoi. The vibe that you emit and your spark shakes them so deeply to their core that they're reminded that they can do better, but choose not to. So simply put, you got these girls shook. So keep going, boo.
I just want to talk to you guys really quick because I usually never talk on here, but whatever. So I want to point out some obvious signs that your friends are haters, because a lot of us, like myself, are very oblivious to this because we like to see the best in individuals, especially people that we call our friends, right? So number one for me would be, if you're out and you're receiving love, you're receiving compliments, you look really good that day, that person is extremely uncomfortable. Typically, they're the one in the corner rolling their eyes, super silent, because they're uncomfortable with you receiving any sort of recognition for how good you look, because they have a lot of internalized issues with themselves that they probably need to work out with a therapist. Number two, if you give them compliments, you're never going to get a compliment back. You could literally be looking like Beyonce that day. They're never going to compliment you back because somehow it's a shot at their pride. Number three, they'll purposely take ugly ass pictures of you. And when you ask them to retake them, they'll get an attitude with you. Number four. Okay, so the last one would be that person is starting to mimic you. They're copying how you talk, how you dress, how you walk, everything. Their demeanor is slowly shifting into one that's very similar to yours. That is not a compliment. A lot of people think that that's a compliment, but no, that person hates you.
This is how I knew that one of my really good friends actually hated me. And most of the times when your friends secretly hate you, you don't realize until like the friendship is over with. Also, because I know you guys are about to go crazy in the comments. The stories I'm about to share are from things that happened years ago with people you don't know. First instance was when she was at my apartment one day and put in my clip-in extensions and was like mocking me. It was all fun and games until it wasn't funny. It's like, I'm Livy, I wake up at 6 a.m. for my workouts and then I come back and I make horrible TikTok videos, and I was like, oh, wait, what? And she went at this for about like 7 minutes. And then it was when she left that night that I was like, I think she hates me. The one thing about a joke is it has to be funny, and it wasn't funny. I also hated my content, which I was like, I don't really give a fuck. Like, this is my job, babe. Like, I don't care. It'd be like, oh, like a friend of mine, like, knows who you are through TikTok. Like, that's so embarrassing that they're, like, listening to your content of, like, the things you're saying. And I was like, I really, in my opinion, I don't think I'm saying anything that insane. Like, I really don't. I would just, like, brush that under the rug because I was like, okay, yeah, like, I guess my content's not for everyone. And it, like, clearly, like, wasn't for her. But I was like, it's really funny looking back because it's like, oh, you had no issue when like my content was sending you to like brand events or gifting suites or anything like that. But anytime someone would mention that she knew that they like followed me and liked my content, it was like very, very uncomfortable for her. Also, I would understand if it was like she's like a PG person and like the things I say are super raunchy, but she wasn't. And I was also like, I don't really give a fuck. I love what I do. I love what I post. That's all that matters. But looking back, like any friend who says that in general, not your friend. Like, not your friend. That's a very weird thing to say. Another example is she was very persistent on the friends in my life that I had at the time not liking them, and then like this one specific person that we both knew, she was very persistent, like, oh, he's preying on your downfall, he really doesn't want the best for you, he's preying on your downfall. The reason this is so weird is because she didn't talk to that man. Like, they had not been in contact for years, but she was like, I just know he's preying on your downfall. I was like, wait, I think you're preying on my downfall. I think there's something to be said about someone being so persistent on getting everyone else out of your life. Like, by saying like, oh, he's preying on your downfall, all these things, and having actually no evidence to provide me with is a really, really weird thing to do. But those are just little ways that I knew a friend I had like secretly hated me.
When did y'all realize y'all friend didn't like y'all? I'll go first.
My senior year of college was the most traumatic year of my life because my mother was dying of cancer. At that time, I did not know how to be a good daughter and a good student, and it was just an all-in-all traumatic experience. By the grace of God and the support of my family, I did make it to the finish line, and I was able to graduate from college. However, my mother was so sick that she was not able to attend my college graduation, and she died shortly after. At my graduation, I was with my best friend, and she was in very like deep thought. Like, I could tell something was on her mind, and I thought it was just the heaviness of my situation because she was my friend, and she saw how much I was hurting. No, that's not what was on her mind. We're sitting there for a while. She looked me dead in my face and she said, I never thought in a million years you would be graduating college before me. And that was the moment it hit me. This girl hates me. And this girl thinks that it has been a competition this whole entire time. She was always the better student. And it killed her that she was the college dropout and I was the one graduating, despite everything I went through with having a dying parent who I loved fiercely. It killed me that my mother could not be there. And that's what she was thinking about. The fact that I was graduating before her. That's all she cared about. And that's when I knew that my best friend hated me.
Y'all tell me in the comments if I'm tripping or not, okay? So this girl had made a video and said, tell me when you realized that your friend never really liked you, didn't like you, okay? I'll go second. The first thing is when you catch them staring at you. I done caught this girl side-eyeing me many times while we're getting ready to go out together. While I'm doing my last touches on my hair and my makeup, and she just like... Another thing is anytime we will go out, and even if it's a group thing, and you know me, I like to look great when I go out. And then she'll have like slick comments and be like, Dajay got to do the most. Dajay got to do this and that. Another one is when it was time for this person, her, to take her pictures that I was going to help her with even after that. She was complaining like the whole time, talking about, oh, my picture's not going to look like yours. You just had to choose the best outfit. I'm just wondering if my picture's going to look like yours. I should have just bought the outfit that you had in a different color so everybody can look at me like they looked at you. Another one is when we were playing get-togethers and she would always cancel the time of the get-together, and then the next day I would see her out with another friend. Another one is when we have a lot of mutuals, so when we would hang out in groups, and I guess I wouldn't know about the setting until I guess after it happened. I'm like, damn, why nobody tell me that? And they would be like, well, we told her to tell you, and then she'll never like tell me. Like she stopped like telling me to come or inviting me, basically. That's when I knew, like, okay, I've been knew like shit was just adding up. This is the kicker right here, though. Y'all, it's my birthday, right? Hold on. I talked about my birthday for a long time. Take in mind, we always on the phone. We always texting. You know when my birthday is. Tell me why this girl did not tell me happy birthday. Tell me why she even called me on the day and still didn't tell me happy birthday. To talk about a boy. She called me on the day to talk about a boy. And then the person I was with made me realize, he was like, "Did she been calling you all day? Have she even told you happy birthday?" Then I realized, I was like, this bitch ain't even told me happy birthday. And then when I confronted her about it, she claimed she forgot. But before I confronted her about it or said something about it, take in mind, it was somebody else. It was 3 other people's birthday after mine. She posted them happy birthdays and everything. They got a whole collage and everything. Take in mind, when the last time you seen these girls? It's been a while. Me and you always see each other. We always around each other. How do you know their birthday you barely talk to them? That was the last strike for me, y'all. That was it for me. That hoe got the boot. But it's a little bit more stuff. But that's just a couple of things when I realized that she was a hating ass bitch.
These are some signs that your friend is actually your biggest hater. If you recognize any of these signs, you actually need to get rid of her. She's just adding toxicity into your life, and we don't really need that, do we? If you find that your friend is constantly trying to put you down, is trying to make you feel bad about yourself in some type of way, maybe they're saying, oh my gosh, why are you doing this? Like, that's so weird. Or like, just kind of like poking fun at your personality or poking fun at anything about you, whether that's you one-on-one together or in front of a crowd, they're trying to embarrass you. They literally are envious of you in some type of way, and they just are doing this out of their own pure envy, and they can't help it, so it's seeping out. This is a reflection of themselves because there's certain things that they're lacking that you have, and they want to put you down to bring you to their level. To the friend that barely gives you any compliments, and this could be in person or online. So if you find yourself constantly complimenting them first, they're not going out of their way to be like, wow, you look so good, you look so pretty, I love your outfit. Like, if they're not the first person to say that, and they're not ever to be found on your comments on Instagram or anything like that, they are literal haters of you. Like, they would rather not give you that compliment because they don't want it to get to your head. Whatever the feeling is, if they're not complimenting you, and even as a girl, you should be hyping your friends up in every single scenario. There shouldn't even be a hesitation to compliment your friends. Where it's weird behavior if they can't even give you like a sincere compliment. And if they only compliment you after you compliment them first, that's a huge red flag. I don't like that. If they are not celebrating your wins, especially big or small, in person, online, and they're not the first person to congratulate you, they are literal haters. Like, they hate the fact that you're doing better or doing something great because they're in competition with you. And if they know that you're doing something amazing, they just don't want to give you that compliment. They don't want to make you feel good. Like, if anything, again, it's envy, and they don't want to congratulate you because they just don't want it to get to your head. But also, that's the last thing they want to see is they hate to see you win. So if anything, they're just going to be like very vague. They're not even going to say anything. That is a weirdo behavior, hater energy. If you can't even celebrate me on my accomplishments, things that I'm proud of, why even have you as a friend? Like, I can literally just have an enemy at this point. Or this pretty much goes with number 2, but if they are never uplifting you in any regard, like everything out of their mouth is constantly like either about them, or they can't even give you any sort of uplifting energy on their own, they can't even just bring up something positive about you. They can't even say something positive about you on their own. Not even a compliment about the way you look or anything. It's literally just an uplifting energy towards you. You constantly feel this like heaviness with them, and you can't really understand why, but it's because they have this deep like hatred or this deep like jealousy,
envy, whatever it is, and you just feel that energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is definitely someone who is a big hater of you, who is envious. They're not going to admit that. That does speak volumes. It's a huge, huge red flag. We're just not going to have that around us, and she needs to, like, go away. Bye. If you guys have any more, please leave them in the comments below, and as always, stay safe, and I love you.
The most confusing thing ever is finding out that your friend views your friendship differently than you do. And I had a bit of a rude awakening last night because I went to this housewarming and one of the people invited is someone I haven't seen in like over 10 years, but we were friends when we were kids. We swam together for years. We went to the same school. Like, we weren't amazing friends, but I would say we were pretty close. And that's basically how I remember it in my mind, like friendship, swimming, and then he went to a different high school and we just kind of drifted apart after that. So last night he shows up to this house party and it's like, oh my God, like so good to see you, hugs, haven't seen you in so long. We're chatting a little bit. He's honestly doing like really cool things. He sounds like he's doing great. And so the night's going on and a little while later he comes up to me and he's like, I feel like we can talk about this now, but did you know that growing up, like I used to hate you? And I was like, no, I had no idea. And he was like, yeah, like it wasn't like a super like crazy hatred or anything, but I just felt like in swimming and in school, you were always one-upping me. Like even when I was doing good or getting better, like you would always just best me a little bit. And he was like, come on, like you must have felt like we were kind of in competition with each other, right? And I was like, honestly, I didn't. He's not mad anymore or anything. And like, I don't think it was ever that serious. And at the end, he was kind of like, well, take it as a compliment. Like you were really good at a lot of things, which of course I appreciate, but I was just so surprised that we could view the friendship so differently and I had no idea.
Why is the girl canon event to have a girl best friend that secretly hates your guts? Like, why has every single girl experienced this? It's just like a rite of passage for some reason, but it sucks. And it's extremely traumatizing being best friends and you feel like family with somebody that secretly actually hates you / wants to be you. And the way you can detect a friend like this immediately is when you start noticing them being passive aggressive to you and making little comments to kind of tear you down in a very sneaky way where you can't really call it out. When they try to humble you constantly in front of other people and make you feel stupid. And when they can't celebrate your wins because they're in a silent competition with you, but you don't even know. It's also really hard to watch this happen to other people because you'll see other girls in friendships and you can tell when you've been through this that the other girl secretly does not like the other person, but only time will tell. And it's just like the most confusing dynamic and feeling because it's like, why are you pretending to be my best friend when you secretly hate me, can't celebrate my wins, you don't like my posts? Like, what is this? I wish every girl didn't have to go through that because it's traumatizing.
So I've been seeing a post on Twitter and it said, when did you realize that your supposed friend hated you? Ooh! I'll go first, baby, because this is for me. So I was homeless at the time and I was living with my best friend and her family. So she had just got her own apartment. So I'm thinking like, yeah, like I'm in there. Like I don't got to worry about her mom talking shit to me no more because her mom literally used to talk shit to me every day. I used to go to work just to hand her mom my money. So I was broke. I didn't have nothing for myself. I was paying bills in a place where I slept on the floor. So all of that should have made sense, right? But I still loved my best friend. So once she got her own place, I'm thinking I can be over there instead of being at her mama house. She started having me over there. Cool. One day I came home from work. When I tell you, like, I was starving because I didn't have no money. I had to give her mom my last. I didn't have no money because I had to use the money for the bus to get to work. So, I mean, I didn't have nothing in my stomach. I think I worked like a 10-hour shift that day. I actually walked into her house and she was cooking, her and her sister. So I'm like, oh, cool. Because I'm starving. Like, I can literally hear my stomach. All of a sudden, they got done cooking. And they dished out 2 plates for themselves. And then the food was gone. But I'm staring at them like, so you didn't make anything for me? Like, like, this is my best friend. So I'm like, why do we have beef right now? I just got off of work. Nothing happened prior. Now, all of a sudden, you're treating me like I'm just not shit. She lived in a high rise. So they sat on the floor because she didn't have no furniture yet. She just moved in. So they sat on the floor. And I remember the meal that they had. They had steak bites and mashed potatoes. Because, baby, she could fuck up some steak bites and mashed potatoes. So I remember that shit like I told you, I was hungry. So as they're eating their meal, I look in the door because you could literally see yourself. And they're eating, laughing at me. They're literally sitting there taking a bite and I never felt so stupid in my entire fucking life. I never felt so stupid. Like, just to know that your best friends would starve you when you didn't do a damn thing to them, that's when I realized some people just don't have your best interest. It doesn't matter if they're a friend, if they're a family member. Some people just don't have your best interest. And you have to realize that the minute they show you. The thing about me is once I'm done with somebody, I'm truly done with somebody. Whether it's a friendship, whether it's a relationship, I'm the same way because I'm too good of a person. I'm too good of a person to a lot of people. And I feel like in the end, they always come running back to me and I don't ever go back to them. So when people show you who they are, truly believe it and move on with your life. Yeah, it was hurtful, but I knew that I wasted 15 years. So I'm not going to go and sit and dwell on that. I'm going to move forward. All I did was I never talked to them again. I've never seen them again. I had my sister-in-law go and get all my stuff from their house. And that was that. Like I don't have time to sit and hurt that I didn't cause. You know what I'm saying? People gonna do you how people gonna do you. It's either you sit there and deal with it or you move forward with your life. I'm moving forward. You know, you hear people say they get scared of relationships. They're more scared of relationships. Me, I am more afraid of friendships. And let me tell you why. The simple fact that people can pretend to be your friend, best friend at that, for decades when they never had the intention to be a friend. That's more scary to me than any fucking man in this world because I am way more closer to my best friends than I am to anybody in this world. I had two best friends, 15-year friendship. And it's sometimes when you're in the friendship, the love that you have for the people, you get blinded because of it. So even when the signs are there, the clues are there, and they're doing you wrong, you don't even see it. You're so blinded by love. I had two friends that I would have stepped in front of a bullet for, you know. I go visit. I was staying with them at the time. I go visit my family for the weekend, and anytime I go to my brother's house, I don't need money. You know, they take care of everything. So I left my wallet. I left my wallet at the house. I had just got paid. I wasn't really thinking about it. So I'm at my brother's house. We're all having a good time, and my bank calls me, and my bank is like, you know, they think it's fraud because they're like, somebody spent your money, spent your whole entire paycheck. So I'm like, oh, well, who the hell would do that? I'm like, because I only left my wallet at their house. So I call my bank. I talk and get the info of where the money was spent. So I ended up going up there and I talked to the manager, and it was somebody who actually owned his store. So I said, sir, do you mind if I see your CCTV? Because I would hate to, you know, this is 15 years, right? So I would hate to accuse somebody of something that they didn't do. Because anytime I'm bringing you a question, I already got the answer to it. I just want to see if you're going to give me the truth. So I went and I looked at the CCTV, and lo and behold, it was the two of them. And they spent my entire check. They was laughing, dapping each other up, all that. I said, okay. So I go home and I call them. I go to my brother's house and I call them. I said, hey, my bank called me and said that somebody spent my whole entire check. Do you guys have any idea who did that? Because I left my wallet there. So I really don't know. I'm like, I know y'all wouldn't do that to me. 15-year friendship, nah, y'all wouldn't do that to me. Y'all would have had the courtesy to just call and ask me for money if y'all needed it. I know y'all wouldn't do that to me, right? We would never do such a thing. We've been friends for 16 years, damn near. How could you accuse us of something like da-da-da-da-da? So I said, okay, that's all I need to know. Hung up my phone.
I still think it's so funny when someone hates you and they think that you can't tell. I used to know this girl who just straight up hated me. Anytime anyone would compliment me, she would take it away somehow. Like one time, someone was like, oh my God, Becca, your skin looks good today. And she was like, aren't you on Accutane? I was like, oh my God, why did you have to say that? On a table of people. What if I didn't want them to know I was on Accutane? I don't know. The things that she would say to me would be like, it's like inspiring to me how confident you are. Like, you're just so like bold. And I'd be like, okay, I'm just living, I don't know what I'm doing that's making me bold. I'm living my life. And it's a type of compliment that when she says it, you're like, thank you. But then you're going to bed at night and you're like, I think you hate me. And I feel like that was the meanest thing anyone's actually ever said to me. You know what I mean? I just see this girl like a lot. And if I showed up wearing something like, I don't know, I would just show up places and she'd be like, that outfit is just so you. Or like if I would post something, she'd be like, I would never post that. But that's just like so your personality. Like you were just so, I wish I could just not care what people thought the way you do. She said that to me one time. What? Oh my God, and one time we were sitting at a table full with like men at the table and someone looked at me and was like, oh my God, your makeup looks good. And she said, in front of the table of men, Becca, didn't you just get Botox and lip filler today? Oh my God, I didn't know there were cops around right now. Yes, I did actually. But do you have to say that? I've told this story before, but one time I was telling her about this video that I wanted to make and she was like, you know, guys don't really like girls that are in front of the camera like that. Do I seem like someone that cares about in front of the camera? I don't know. Care? And it was really only in front of guys that she would like start digging at me. So I knew it had something to do with guys, which is so funny, ironic now. But it's just like, I kind of liked it. Like, everything I said, she'd be like this. And she like thought I couldn't see. Like it was satisfying to always have a new story about her. And I kind of miss that. I should text her. Guys don't really like girls in front of the camera. So yeah.